Good morning, everybody. Welcome back to the Journey to Greatness with David McDonald, the GOAT. Man, whew. When I say we're going hard, we are going hard. I'm going so hard, you guys. I'm working from 5 a.m. until 8, 9 o'clock at night. It's crazy. So, pardon me, man. Pardon me. But I'm here and I'm present. So, thank you. Alrighty, so let's get started here. Come hell or high water, we got to show up. That's what we're about to do. All right. Yeah, I've been going real hard, you guys. I've been going real hard. Working. Grinding for a better tomorrow. Morning, Liz. Good morning. All right. Going so hard. Okay. Alrighty, let's get to it. Okay, I think we're good. All right. I banged my knee on a bench yesterday, and it's just killing me. Yeah, usually you can rub those things out, but my knee feels a little bit sore. It's very interesting. I'm not getting old. Okay. Welcome back. Welcome back. Good morning, Yusuf. How's it going? Good morning, Marcus. Alrighty. Good morning, everybody. Thank you for joining me today. So we just finished our meditation routine, and now we're going to get into our reading routine. So if you're joining us for the first time and you don't have a book to read, you can always log on to your phone and read something there. Or if you have a book, go ahead and grab that. So I'll see you guys on the other side. Get the bag and get the bag. Excuse me. Alrighty. That book is getting very interesting. I like this part of it. So, okay, we're going to get into our journaling routine if you haven't already. We just started a new journal here yesterday, so that's good. So usually in the journal, I like to start off by talking about what I'm most grateful for. Waking up is the number one thing I'm grateful for, and having exceptional health. And so I like to mention those first, and then I just go into a sequence of gratitude and appreciation of everything that happened yesterday. So all of my events, everything that I did, and I kind of reflect on yesterday's events to say, okay, well, I'm grateful for everything I learned, this, that, and the other, and then I go to project what the rest of my day is going to look like, and pretty much just set the tone for myself mentally. And then if I feel like there's something on my chest, or there's something I'm trying to work through or trying to work around or whatever it may be, then I put that down in my journal also. And then I write an alternate perspective. So, hey, Jason, good morning. And then I write that down. In my journal. So a lot of different tools. It's really just another space to clear your mind and create a mission statement every single day for yourself. Remind yourself of this mission statement so that you can have an anchor as you move throughout the day. So I'll see you guys on the other side. All right. All righty. Welcome back. Welcome back. Okay. Yeah, that alarm was supposed to go off 1 minute ago. So thank you everybody who's joining me this morning once again. And okay, like I said, this book is starting to get a little bit interesting. Well, I guess a lot interesting. So yesterday we were talking briefly about pretty much like the formation of America and how the British soldiers. Morning, Rose. How's it going? How the British soldiers were in Boston, walking the streets, patrolling the streets, and two gentlemen, Samuel Adams and John Hancock. I believe Hancock was one of them. They came together and they pretty much started a colonist group, and then they were sending orders to the King of Britain to come over and remove the troops. So the way that the land was organized at this time was each designated area or state had an assigned governor, which is kind of like a state representative now. So we have a state representative, then you have the federal government, right? And so at the commoners, if a commoner or somebody in the Commonwealth had an actual opinion about something that was happening from the Britain side, so going across the water to Britain, then the governors would be the ones who would report to them, right? Obviously, because the king, like I said yesterday, a lot of the people that came over who were founding fathers, they were relentless in the way that, that usually over in Britain, they were criminals. And so when they started to explore land, this is the land that they discovered. So, and then that rule naturally tried to make its way over here, Britain rule. And they called it British America. And long story short, fast forwarding now to today in the book. So John Adams and, Samuel Adams and John Hancock, they sent the message to a governor of the state. And pretty much once the king got wind of what they were trying to do, which was get troops off of the streets, and they created this movement of colonists, right? This colonist movement. The king pretty much sent a message to them saying that they have two options. Either the king can pardon them and they can take some bribes, or they'll die. So those were the only two options that the king gave to these men. And needless to say, these guys were fearless, Samuel Adams and John Hancock. And so here's actually some words from the book. So okay, so it is. Let me see here. It is the governor's advice to you, sir, not to incur the further displeasure of His Majesty. Your conduct has been such as it makes you liable to penalties of and Mount of Henry VIII, by which persons can be sent to England for trial for treason or misprision of treason, at the discretion of the governor of a province. But by changing your political course, you will not only receive great personal advantages, but you will make your peace with the king. Samuel Adams had a choice of decision. He can seize his opposition and receive personal bribes, or he could continue and run the risk of being hanged. So Adams naturally chose. So Adams' response was, then you may tell the governor Gage that I trust I have long since made my peace with the King of Kings. I think he's talking about God. Of consideration shall induce me to abandon the righteous cause of my country. and tell Governor Gage it is the advice of Samuel Adams to him no longer to insult the feelings of the exasperated people. So the monarchy at that time, right? The reason why there was a lot of uproar, like during those times of kings and all this, is because a lot of, well, from my knowledge anyway, to be verified, of course, from what I've studied, is like the kings were just not really pleasant people to the commoners. And I think that if, there was a really interesting balance for them to keep between, giving the commoners too much or the people of the land too much, and obviously taking too much from them. And so there's some kings who are just simply tyrants, and there's some people who are compassionate in our history. But at the end of the day, from this situation, King Henry VIII didn't seem like he was very nice. And so obviously the king was furious. And so when Governor Gage received Adams' caustic reply, he flew into a rage and issued a proclamation which read, "I do hereby, in His Majesty's name, offer and promise His most gracious pardon to all persons who shall forthwith lay down their arms and return to their duties of peaceful subjects, excepting only from the benefit of such pardon Samuel Adams and John Hancock, who offenses are too factitious a nature to admit of any other consideration but that of condign punishment." The king at this point was pissed. Congress of the colonists deorganized, and that no man should leave the room until the decision for such a Congress had been reached. So once John Hancock and Samuel Adams came to the realization that the king was about to take some serious action against them, they went and had a secret meeting. And the meeting consisted of colonists, so people who pretty much were against the Britain rule, and then you had followers. And so at this meeting, it was on September 5th, 1774. Napoleon Hill is saying that September 5th, 1774 is even greater than July 4th, 1776, which is the day of independence, right? So July 4th is the day of independence for America. And so this is really interesting to me, side note, because I like to know where things started, and I like to go way, 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 way back to say, well, why is everything the way that it is? And so Napoleon is dropping plenty of knowledge here. So once they had the secret meeting, with the colonists and the colonist followers, they pretty much came to a point where they locked themselves in a room and said, "Hey, we're not leaving until we can establish some type of Congress or a decision process." And what they were doing is they were trying to find unity among themselves, because at this time people were coming into their identity. So how does any of this relate to us? Right? I'll get to that in a second. So meanwhile, in Virginia, you had Thomas Edison, who was in the province of Virginia, who was, pretty much having problems with his governor also. So his governor of that state, he was having troubles with them. And so he published pretty much like a right book. What do they call it exactly? The Summary View of the Rights of British America. And then he also was sentenced or claimed to be in treason of the higher crown. So a lot of stuff going on here, right? Pretty interesting to digest and switch. But Napoleon Hill, the reason why he says September 5th, 1774 is more significant than, or maybe more significant than, July 4th, which is the day of independence of 1776, is because you had, okay, in America, we have it really nice, right? I think. Obviously, we could put our fingers on a bunch of injustices and all this stuff that's happening. But like when we really think about it, and this is just going back to the place of just being ultimately grateful for the life that we have, the things that we're able to obtain, the money that we're able to earn, the food we're able to eat, the TV shows we're able to watch, the stuff, everything, the cars we're able to drive, the water we're able to drink, the clothes we're able to iron, whatever it is, we have it really good. But imagine if somebody came and said, I'm taking all of that away from you. You're going to live like this, right? Like, what would you do, or what would we do? And then this person or this power that came said, hey, we have an army behind us. If you disrespect us, or if you don't follow our rule, we'll hang you in the streets, or we'll shoot you at plain sight. Easy, right? Like, what would you do if somebody came to you and did that and took everything away? It'd be a little bit different, obviously, because we're already here. But imagine if we hadn't enjoyed all of these things. But like, actually, let's take it to that place. We have all these things we enjoy. We know what it feels like. Oh my goodness. And then it's all ripped away from you. And if you go against the crown, then you get killed. The reason why John Hancock and Samuel Adams are so significant is because they had no fear. They had no fear of anything else. So meanwhile, they were over in, the crown was over in Britain, Great Britain, and they were over in the Americas. They formulated, they pretty much, the fact that they were so fearless, and they knew they weren't going to fail, was the reason why we were able to gain our independence in America. And that's something that we can relate to our lives in 2018, right? Fear is an illusion. There is no idea too great for us to imagine or think about and then to manifest into reality. Like I said, imagine if that power came here, took everything away, and we went against it, or we resisted, or you would die. So they believed in their cause so much. They had that desire within them that Napoleon Hill talks about throughout the earlier parts of the book. In order to manifest your dreams, you have to have a burning desire. You have to have the idea, and you have to have a timeline in which you wish to achieve, and you need to have what you're going to give back, or what you need to give back, and you have to have how you're going to achieve it, or through which avenues. And that's really dependent on whatever you focus on. Whatever you focus on can be at any point in time maneuvered and switched up. So if you go this direction, you say, I want to do this, and whatever this profession is, and I want to make X amount of dollars in X amount of time doing this, then you go ahead and you move in that direction. Let's say, you give it a month, you give it 2 months, you get down that road, and you're like, well, I'm not really feeling this. This isn't what I thought it was going to be. Skirt. Then you just change directions. You go a different way. The number one thing you don't want to keep getting caught up doing is just going like this, though, right? So you want to find your focus. And the way you find your focus is by meditating, by reading, by journaling, and really like digging deeper within you, right? And when you dig deeper within you, your inner voice starts to talk to yourself, because you're silencing all of the movement that's around you. You're silencing all the opinions that are around you. And so when you silence all of those opinions and you silence all those voices, you get to really listen to yourself, speak to yourself. And then at that moment, that's when you're able to execute and move this, that, or the other. But going back to the book and just wrapping all of this up, I really appreciate, because I've been able to follow the story of Napoleon Hill and why all of this is so significant. And when you think about what they did, Samuel Adams and John Hancock, they actually added one other guy too. His name was, what was his name? They added one guy. Where is he? Let me see here. They added one more guy to the group. It might have been Thomas Jefferson. But so they added one more guy to the group. But the thing is this: you have a power at that time that ruled over the entire land. Like, imagine you have the president, right, of the United States of America. Imagine a small group of people creating like their own rights. Bitcoin is a perfect example, right? Whoever started Bitcoin, like if you ever go and look at like where cryptocurrency encrypted by serious code, when you cryptocurrency, crypto money. So encrypted money is what cryptocurrency stands for, right? Crypto, the encryption in which that is built around the currency of Bitcoin is very sophisticated. It's very sophisticated. And not only is it sophisticated, but it is fundamentally, in my opinion, disrupting the natural order of dollar, gold, this, that, and the other at this time. So they're doing exactly what Samuel Adams is doing. So now the government is putting taxes on certain Bitcoin and all this, that, and the other. And they're trying to figure out in New York, how do you tax Bitcoin? You know, something that really doesn't exist. And if you guys haven't followed Bitcoin very much, that's like an open discussion. So some of the founders, early investors of Bitcoin are on panels, you know, talking to the government of the United States of America. And so they're trying to figure out a way. But who would have thought, right? The whole idea and the whole point of this is, who would have thought that a guy, they're saying that he's Japanese. Nobody really knows who he is. But a guy, a Japanese man, or a man for that matter, forget everything else about it. A man could create a currency that would directly compete or give us another way of earning money. You know, like who would have thought of that? Like, that takes incredible imagination. That takes incredible fearless like aptitude, fearless nature. And that's exactly what John Hancock and Samuel Adams have done fundamentally. They have challenged the rule of the land. Kings do not play. Like, if you go back and read about how kings were, they are not fun people sometimes. Like, they don't care. Like, at the snap of a finger, like, you're done, and they could just continue living their lives. You know, now there's more order. If you kill somebody, obviously you go to jail or you go to trial, and then they determine your fate from there. But kings, a lot of the time, were unjust, and that's why we don't have those systems anymore, right? And so it's just a very interesting space in the way that he's laying out this whole story. But in the end, it's just affirming to me that you have to be fearless, you have to be bold, and you have to go against the natural order. I'm not saying break the laws, but go against the natural order of what we were set here to do. People say, oh, you can't manifest your reality. That's your opinion. I congratulate you for having it. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. But you got to go. I believe you have to go against natural order. And the natural order says, well, why can't you create? Why can't you be the greatest person that you were put on this earth to be? And so let me not be, let me not string these words along. But I hope that I was very, very clear in kind of reading the chapter or reading these pages and then tying it into our 2018 and bringing that value to you, to all of the community out here. Good morning, Amy. How's it going? Good morning, Matt. How's it going? Good morning. Good morning. Gerard, what's up, bro? What's up, Jay? How you doing, man? Okay. So thank you for everybody who jumped on. I seem to have a lot more viewers at this hour and more people involved. That's pretty cool. But nonetheless, I will see you guys tomorrow. Thank you, everybody who joined me on the Journey to Greatness, day 136 with David McDonald, the GOAT. And if you wouldn't mind, for everybody who jumped on, to jump on the Journey to Greatness page. I think we got another like yesterday, so we're at 28. I'm not going to invite anybody to come and like the page because I organically, just want it to flow. So if you feel like this session today was of any benefit for you, or you found some value in this session, obviously come back tomorrow. We'll be here at 5 a.m. That's our natural time when we wake up, or we get on live. And then if you could just go to the Journey to Greatness page and just press that like button, that would be awesome. And then when you do that, we naturally will just add you as a member. So then as a member, you get the direct access to other people who are in the group. We have about 20 people right now. And so if you have like events that you're thinking about promoting or whatever it is, or if you want to get together, we do that. And we sit together and we mastermind. We create we're creating a mastermind group that is going to be very powerful here in Seattle. And I see it already. And so how can we create a better space for people who think big? How can we create a better space for people who can sit around a table and talk about ideas, and talk about new business models and talk about new influential tactics or whatever it may be? That's what we do. So, and then a number of other things. Obviously, the door is wide open. And so thank you so much again. I hope you all have the best day of your life. I love you guys, and I will see you tomorrow at 5 a.m. Peace.